Most often, when we don't succeed at something, it's not because we don't have the desire, it's not because we don't have the know how, it's because we don't have structure. We don't have a routine. We don't have a way that sets it up automatically to get done, and so it doesn't get done. Hey, that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about routine and how routines can set us up for fasting success and ultimately for reversing our diabetes. Hey, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. People who want to put their diabetes in remission, who want to reverse their diabetes. And we're using fasting as one of those ways to do that. If you're new to me, go ahead and put new in the comments because we'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And let you know that we are excited that you are here. Also, if you're new and you have questions, go ahead and put those in the comments. Make sure you put a Q in front of it so that we know that that's a question that we need to get to, and that we will get to those and answer those as we go through the show. And if you've been with us, you know how we do. If you do, if you haven't been with us, you're gonna learn, because right now I've got some monitors, I've got some meters over here that we're gonna take a look at. So I've got my meters that we're gonna take a look at here. And then right below me, you'll see that is my Dexcom Clarity app that the report actually that we'll take a look at here in just a minute to see what's been going on with my blood sugars since we ended our fast last week. So we're in our fast for this week. So I just want to hop over and say hello. I do see some of our community members over there. And let's see, what's the best way to do this? Let's pull you guys up on the screen. Yeah, let's grab this one. All right, so Steve is saying hello. Jennifer said, howdy all. And then I'm just dropping in this, say, hey, thank you. Hey, Jennifer and Steve. And Cornelia Mack. Hey, Cornelia, hey, how are you? Welcome. Glad that you are here hanging out with us as we go into this show. So let's hop over and let's do some of our standard things. Let's do our check-in. Yeah, let's do that. And I am always excited when we talk about checking in because, as you know, checking in is really it is walking us through the things or the places where people will have issues. Before I do that, let's set a little backdrop. Okay, let's go back and let's talk about what exactly we're doing. Those of you who are here, you kind of understand. But if you're just catching up to us, if you're just finding us, if you are new to the channel, if you're new to this space, what we're doing is we're working on our metabolism. We are working specifically on reversing diabetes, right? So you hear me say we're talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to reverse their diabetes, who want to get off of medications, who want to improve their metabolism, who want to put their diabetes in remission. All those words you hear me say. Well, what does that mean? That means that our goal is that you who are watching and me are able to manage our diabetes in a way that we're getting all of the benefits of this idea of reversing diabetes. So we're getting better blood sugars. We're getting better A1Cs when we go to see our doctor. Our weight is going down. We're coming off of medication, not just for diabetes, but for other things as well. Okay? So we're setting ourselves up to be metabolically healthy. We're setting ourselves up to be able to get off of some of the medication that you are currently on. That's the goal. And as part of that, we've learned several tools in our toolbox that we have now, and they are the things that we stick our hand in and we pull out and we use them whenever we want, just like you would use a hammer in your that's in your garage, or a screwdriver that's in a drawer somewhere. When you need it, you take it out, you use it, and then you put it back in. And one of the most amazing tools that we've been using is this idea of fasting. Okay, and we've done several shows where we've gone through and talked about the different types of fast, the different disease processes that the fasting will help with. And so we are using fasting as one of the tools. Notice I say one of the tools because there are several tools that we have learned that we have access to. But one of the most powerful ones is of course the fasting. And why is fasting such a powerful tool? Because fasting hits all of the pillars of reversing diabetes. Remember what the pillars are: decrease insulin, suppress the appetite, and reduce sugar. And fasting, when we fast, we're not putting anything in. So if we're not putting anything in, we're also not taking in any sugar. So sugar goes down. When the sugar goes down, the insulin doesn't have to spike, or you don't have to take insulin from outside. That's exogenous insulin. And so the insulin level goes down. And because insulin is an appetite stimulating hormone, when you decrease insulin, then the appetite gets suppressed. I want you to follow that. Okay? So we're cutting back on the sugar because we're fasting. Insulin goes down because we're fasting. And the appetite gets suppressed because we're fasting. So fasting hits all of those pillars, and that's why fasting is being used. That's why we're using fasting as one of these tools. Well, as we get into fasting, one of the things that we want to do is we want to be able to check in with ourselves to see how we're doing in several areas, but the three most common or three most important areas is how we're doing physically, mentally, and emotionally. Physically, mentally, and emotionally. And at the top of the show, when we're fasting, I do that. I do a check-in. Okay. So the check-in really kind of hits all the places where people will sometimes struggle, right? In how they're feeling physically, how their mentation is going, and then how they're feeling emotionally. Now, let me hasten to say that anytime, and let me come back to this screen because I want you to hear me, I want you to see me. Anytime you are working on anything that you are trying to change, you've got to develop a way of checking in with yourself. And typically the things that you want to ask yourself fall into these categories as well. How are you feeling mentally, physically, mentally, and emotionally? All right, so let's talk about me. So I am not doing a good job of resting. Can I just throw that out there? I was on my way home tonight, and I actually had to call a friend. I was coming from the office, which is not that far away. I had to call a friend and talk with him because I was so tired. I was tired, and I've been staying up late. And there are a lot of things that I'm working on, and because of that, I'm not getting the rest that I need. Okay, so I'm just going to throw that out there. And so just like last week, I'm feeling more tired than I was in the past, right? So weeks leading up to now, I was getting good rest, and I was not feeling fatigued. But this week, I'm feeling fatigued, and I think on the heels of last week, probably feeling it a little bit more. In terms of my energy level, in terms of feeling like I'm drained, I don't feel like I'm drained, but I can't tell. You know how you have that feeling when you haven't slept well or haven't slept much, kind of almost a little laggy, maybe a little achy, and that I am feeling that this week. I'm not feeling palpitations. Someone in the office asked me about that this week, about palpitations. I'm not feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, and we'll take a look at what my blood sugars are here in just a minute, so that we can see where I am. And it's not a blood sugar issue, right? So I'm not having any of those symptoms, and also because I'm not on medication for diabetes, then I am not feeling the symptoms of blood sugars going down. And we'll take a look at that in my meter here in just a little while. Okay, so physically, that's how I'm feeling. Mentally, I think I'm pretty clear. On the way home, when I was talking to my friend, I was a little sleepy, and so I could tell that I was a little bit delayed. But came home, took a shower, came in here, got ready for the show, and meditation wise, I think I'm doing pretty good. I'm not feeling dull. I'm not feeling foggy. I'm not feeling as though I'm walking through a bubble, right? That kind of feeling that people talk about, feeling like they're in a bubble sometimes. I'm not feeling any of that, but I can tell that I'm tired, right? All right. And then emotionally, this all kind of flows together. So how you feel emotionally sometimes comes from what your energy levels are and what you're thinking, all of that. I am excited because we got some things that are going on this week that I finally got some. I got a plan. Let me say it that way. So I've got a plan, and so I am going to be getting better rest, right? Because that's now behind me. I've got that moving, and I don't have to stay up as late. So anyway, so I'm excited about that. I'm not feeling depressed. I'm not feeling down. Actually, that I think gives me some energy. Okay, so that's how we're feeling physically, mentally, and emotionally. And you always want to check in with yourself. Like I said, anytime you want to change something, you've got to check in. And these are the areas that I recommend that you look at whenever you're dealing with that. Okay, so then let's take a look at my blood sugars, right? So let's see what's been going on. And on the screen now, you should see that's my Libre 3. I think this is a plus. Libre 3 Plus. And as you know, I actually wear, let's see, can you see that? Maybe this way. I've got two monitors on. This is the Dexcom G7. This is the Libre 3 Plus. I don't have a Stello, and that was the third one that I was wearing at one point, but I don't have that. That's the over-the-counter version of the Dexcom. Okay, so don't have that. So on the screen you'll see this is my my Libre 3, and so for most of today I've been in my range. So I've set my range actually just from 70 to 150. So it'll alarm at 150. Normally when you first get these things and you set them up, the default is 70 to 180. But I want to know sooner if my blood sugar is going up, right? So that's just my personal, that's me. I don't want it to get to 180 before I know, right? So then if it's lower, I can make some decisions about some things that I eat and maybe walking a little bit more, drinking more water. So I could do some things before it gets to 180, right? So it'll alarm. Of course, sometimes I'm at the office and it alarms and I can't readily do something about it, right? So this is my Libre. And here's my Dexcom, and just like the Libre, you'll see that for most of the day I've been in the target range. Now this one will allow me, if I put my finger, I can actually track and see what the numbers have been throughout the day. And so starting from where we are right now, 97, looks like we're in the low 100s, probably going back to about noon. Let's see, so 100, 110, 105. Right, so right about noon is when it got into the one teens. And then before that, 120s, 130s, 120s, 130s. Oh, think I saw 140 there. Yeah, 140, that was at 1 p.m. Oh, and I didn't tell you, so right now I am 24 hours plus. A little over 24 hour, actually 24 or 25 hours, 25 hours in my fasting. Okay, and let me change this to a 24 hour. So you'll see going back. So right at 6 a.m. So we're in the 150s, and then going back to last night, right around this time, I was 160, then I went down, and then came back up. So probably 2 hours before this, I ate. Okay, and so that's what we're seeing there. And then once I went into fasting in earnest, right? So that's this first 6 hours. Remember, when we talk about fasting, those first 6 hours, that's kind of the postprandial phase, right? That's the body uh, digesting, blood sugars are high, insulin is high, energy levels are high, and then as the body begins storing some of that, then the blood sugars go down, insulin level goes down, and so forth. Okay, and so that's what we're seeing right now. All right. So let me put this one back on the screen, and then let's take a look. Let's go over, and then we'll take a look at my monitors. So I've got a Keto Mojo, which gives me just both blood sugar and ketones, and then a contour. So let's go ahead and grab one of these strips out. We'll get that into the contour. And then Keto Mojo will start with the glucose. And if you are out there and you are fasting, let us know where you are, how many hours you've been fasting, if you are fasting currently. And I'm also going to open this up. This is the ketone strip. And then go into our little container, and then let's see. Let's grab. I like the white ones. I like these little guys. All right, so I'm going to grab 2 of those. And as you know, this one, you basically screw the top off. And then I don't typically use a lancing device. Let me move this off the screen for a minute. I don't typically use a lancing device, so I just grab a finger, and then I feel that. And these lancing devices are typically, they're small, and so they hurt more. All right, so there we go. So I got a drop of blood there, drop of blood here, get that started. And while that's going, I'm going to keep this drop going because I don't want it to dry. So 101 is what the Keto Mojo says. 98 is what the contour says, and you'll see on the screen that my Libre says that I'm 90. So I'm going to take this strip out. This is the ketone strip that I'm putting in now. So what do you think my ketones are going to be after 25 hours of fasting? All right, so we'll go ahead and get that started. And of course, like I do, we're not going to let you see the end of that quite yet. I'm going to hop over here. Okay, so what do you think that is going to be after 25 hours? All right, so what are we talking about? We're talking about routine. We're talking about routines. And how routines can set us up for success, right? So I shouldn't say I find. Well, let me tell you a story. When I was in residency, in our program, it was a 4-year program. I did a combination of internal medicine and pediatrics. So we trained to be able to take care of both adults and take care of children. And so we trained. And so in the 4th year of residency, because it was a 4-year program, we chose a chief resident. And so that was the person who kind of coordinated clinics, coordinated vacations, made sure that our clinic, the MedPeds clinic, was kind of staffed, was in charge of helping with education for the residents, helped with interviews for new residents that were coming in, was on the committees between the 2 departments and the department, because our program actually sat in both departments, because it was a medicine program and it was a pediatric program. And of course, each of those programs had their own committees, but the MedPeds was part of both of those. And so coming through the process, right? So I started out as an intern, and then I became a 2nd year, and then the 3rd year, and then 4th year is when we chose a chief resident, or you chose them in the 3rd year for 4th year. And so I was chosen as the chief resident for our 4th year. And before I became chief, right? So I was selected as chief, and I started thinking about, hey, what am I going to do next year, right? Because I couldn't start at the time. I couldn't start like next year, planning for next year. So I started planning way before next year. So I've got a little binder, and I still have it, by the way. And I went through and I picked out all the different lecturers or the different articles that I wanted us to do, and the different people that were going to come in and talk to us. I started thinking about all that, and then sending out information about, hey, guys, when do you want to take vacation? So we got all that together. So now we're putting all this stuff in place. I'll tell you, when I think back to that time, the routines that I put in place, the process that I went through in organizing prior to getting into the position was what helped me be successful. I can't imagine what it would have been like, right? To try to coordinate the residents, coordinate clinic, coordinate vacations, coordinate education, coordinate the articles, and all of that if I did not have a routine, if I didn't have a plan. And so I actually developed a daily routine that has changed some, but it basically is the kind of structure. Like when I'm at my best, it's because I've fallen back to this routine that I developed during residency. When I'm flowing, when things are going well, when things are when I know where things are and how things are going, and I can tell you, hey, this is what's happening here and this is what's happening there, I'm back into that mode. And when I come out of that mode, if I am not doing a good job, it seems as though things don't run as smoothly. And so for all of us, when we are working on any improvement, when we're working on any project, if we have a structure, then what we do gets better. What we do is more efficient. What we do gets all of our energies and all of our mental resources applied to it. Otherwise, we're wasting our time because things are not structured and things are not together. And so that also goes for fasting. When we have a routine, then our fasting is more successful. Our fasting is not such a chore, right? And our fasting goes well. So we're going to talk today, or during this episode, we're going to talk about your daily routine, right? And we're checking in, once again, we're checking in at a little over 25 hours, right? This is our 24-hour check-in, but it's a little over 5 hours. So how establishing daily routines or daily habits enhances your fasting journey. So why routines matter? Why do they matter in fasting? Because all you're doing is you're not eating, right? Because that's it. In our case, we're drinking non-calorie containing liquids, but we're basically not eating, and that should be it. Well, there's more to that, right? Because I just said we did a check-in a little while ago where I'm looking at physically, mentally, and emotionally. So fasting is not just about not eating. It encompasses all of those different areas. And because it is so intertwined in your life and intertwined in your emotions and intertwined in how you feel physically and mentally and emotionally, then having a structure, having a routine, having a way that helps you get through it helps to stabilize you, during the fasting. Okay? So one of the reasons that's important, it provides structure and it provides stability during fasting. If you don't have structure and stability, then things are just uneasy. And uneasiness can show up in fasting in lots of different ways, and where people are saying, okay, fasting doesn't work for me, or I just don't feel when I fast. It doesn't really speak to me. And that could be simply because there's no stability. And stability comes from routine. Stability comes from having a structure around you. Also, having routine helps reduce decision fatigue and maintain mental clarity. Decision fatigue is this idea that after you've made decisions for a while during your day, then our default is going to be whatever the simplest thing is. That is, give you an example. If you decided that you are not going to eat cookies, whatever cookies, oatmeal raisin, by the way, that's the. So if you decide, okay, I'm not going to eat cookies, okay, that's my decision. If I'm standing outside your door in the morning as you are leaving, and I have like the best smelling, best looking cookies, they're huge, they're ginormous, and the smell is just wafting out and it's going into your nostril, then you probably won't eat those cookies. Even though you want them, even though they smell good, even though I'm here, even though they look good, and you can imagine what they taste like, you're not going to eat the cookies because you've decided, you've made the decision that you're not going to eat it. So, but you go to work or you're driving to work, and there's an accident on the highway, and you make a decision to get off the highway and take another road, and you get to work. And you get to work, and as soon as you get to work, your boss says to you, hey, you know that report that we were supposed to do for tomorrow, it's actually due today. Can you go and work on it? So you sit down and you're working on that report, and you're making decisions about what to put in, what to take out, because now we've got a shorter period of time to get it to them. And then you have a meeting, right? Before you have to turn the report in, you have a meeting, and in the meeting, you guys are making decisions about what we're going to do in the fourth quarter and some things that we've got to take care of so that we can set ourselves up for success in the new year. And so they're asking your opinion. And so all day, you're in the process of making decisions. You're making decisions about one thing or another. You have to make a decision about going to lunch. You have to make a decision about what you're going to eat at lunch. You have to make a decision, well, hey, you know, we're running over, so all of us can't go to lunch. Let's just send part of the team to lunch while the others work, and then when they come back, the rest of the team will go. Okay, who's going to go to lunch now? Decision that you've got to make. Now, after going through that process, you're coming back home, and I'm standing there with those same cookies. They look just like they did the morning when you left. They smell just like they did when you left the morning, right? You know what the likelihood is? The likelihood is that you're going to eat the cookie because the brain doesn't want to make another decision. And so it will default to the simplest, easiest thing to do, and the easiest thing to do is to eat the cookie. There's no stress. There's no must. It's just, okay, cookie's there. I'm going to eat it. Done. Decision fatigue. And so when we have a routine that is automatic, where we don't have to process, we don't have to think, it reduces the decision fatigue that we have, and it helps us to maintain clarity because now we can put our energies into something else. I remember one of the, and this is, you know, when I was in school, I was in medical school, and we were preparing for exams. We were getting ready to take boards, and the guy who was prepping us, he told us some silly things, and looking back now, what he was trying to do was help us through this process. He said, hey, the day before or a couple of days before, pick what you're going to wear the day of the exam. And I thought that was great. He said, pick what you're going to eat the day of the exam. Pick how many breaks you're going to take on the day of the exam. So he's telling us all this stuff. And I was like, oh, you know, that doesn't mean anything. But what he was doing, he was preventing us from getting decision fatigue even before we got to the exam. Because on the exam, you've got to make decisions about which one is right, which is wrong. You've got to work out the problems. And if this morning I wasn't quite sure what I was going to wear, so should I wear this one or that one? And I spent 15 minutes trying to figure that out. And then, okay, hey, when am I going to take my break? Should I take a break between the first or second block of exams or questions? Do I take a break at lunchtime? And then when lunch is here, they've got these 3 different restaurants. Which one am I going to go eat? Right? So I'm making decisions, and that can lead to decision fatigue. And then having routine Make fasting a seamless part of your daily life. It is just built into your day. It is not something now that you've got to go decide and make a decision about when I'm going to fast, how I'm going to fast, how long. It's already built in because you have a routine that you've developed. So why does fasting matter? Because it does all those things. Okay? What are benefits? What are the benefits of having a routine? What are the benefits of having a routine? Well, one, it keeps the mind off of food. Okay? So it engages you in activities, reduces focus on hunger. So what we're talking about here is having all the things that are planned. So you get up in the morning and you've got a routine that you're going to go through. And in that routine, there's no food. And then at lunchtime or midday, you have a routine that you go through. There's no food in there. And then at evening, there's a routine that you go through. There's no food in there. And so we are engaged in doing things that don't include food, and the focus comes off of food. But if we didn't have a routine, then our brain would be telling us, hey, it's lunchtime. Hey, it's supper time. And we'd have to make a decision not to eat. This way, it's already built into the routine that there's no food. So it keeps our mind off of food. Having a routine also reduces stress because everything is now predictable. Your schedule is predictable. It minimizes your anxiety because you don't have to make those decisions. So it reduces stress. And then it enhances your discipline. It builds consistency and commitment to your fasting goals. Consistency is a superpower, y'all. Consistency is a superpower. It is the key to unlocking unlimited potential using that triple E formula that we talk about. Education, empowerment, and encouragement. You can have the education, you can have the empowerment, you can have the tools, you can have the community around you, but if you are not consistent. So having a routine helps to enhance discipline and helps to build consistency. I wish when I was born that somebody took $1 and said, hey, I'm going to put $1 in this account for you forever. Well, not forever, but for the rest of your life. So the dollar seems like it's such a small thing, right? But $1 over time consistently builds to a lot. And so consistency is those small things that we do, that we show up every day and do, that over time builds momentum and builds so that we end up with a huge result. But often we think that it has to be a grand thing that we do. No, it's small, little commitments that you've made that you are consistently doing over time that leads to results. Okay? All right. So how do we create? And we're going to break this down into 3 different sections, right? Morning routine, midday routine, and evening or ending the day routine, right? So crafting your morning routine. So one, in the morning routine should be some thought of hydration, right? So we're not necessarily giving a structure, and we'll talk about some other things here in a minute. But one, water. Get up, drink water. Hydration, it ushers you into the fast, or keeps you in the fast. It is something that you're doing. It is just distracting. It helps to refresh you. So include that in the morning routine. Also, you want to do, so you have to have some mindfulness practices. Mindfulness practices. Mindfulness means being present here with all your faculties and experiencing the now. Not physically being here, but thinking about yesterday, or physically being here and wondering what's coming on for the rest of the day, but being mindful, being present right here. How am I feeling? How did I sleep? How's my body? How's my physical body? How is my mentation? Um, how are my emotions? So being mindful and understanding where you are, and then setting the tone for the day, because now I understand me. One of the things that we do in the office in the morning is we do what's called a huddle, a team huddle. So we sit around, or get around. I shouldn't say sit. Right, we stand around, and often what we do is we just go around the room and hey, how are you doing today? How was your night? How did you sleep? Did you do that thing that you said we were going to do yesterday? Right. So we're going around and we are being mindful. We're being present for the people that are there. So at the end of huddle, I can know what has happened. Okay, well, maybe this person has a headache, or this is going on in that family, or this is happening here, or this is a place where I need to pay more attention because I'm mindful. And sometimes we're sitting or we're there and we're talking, and people are going, "Well, you keep talking." Well, keep talking because I'm trying to sense what's going on. Okay, being mindful, being present. And then you want to set intentions. What are the intentions for today? Reflect on your fasting goals, right? So we're talking about fasting. What are my goals? Am I getting into the fast today? Am I continuing the fast today? Am I extending the fast today? How many hours am I going? So what are my goals for today? Because I'm setting that now so that if something happens during the day that tempts me, I already know, no, I'm not breaking the fast because I said I was going to go 24 hours and it's only 10 hours, it's only 12 hours, it's only whatever number of hours. If we don't do that, though, then the temptation comes and it's much easier for us to succumb to that. All right, set intentions. You want to use affirmations to strengthen your resolve. I will do a 24-hour fast today. I am going to complete a 24-hour fast today. I am setting myself up for success. I'm improving my metabolism. I'm reversing my diabetes. The mantras, those affirmations. And then some light activity. So boost your energy levels by doing some light activity. So I'm not talking about going and intense workout, but just some walking even. And I've been doing walking, well, all kinds of times of the day because we're doing a new. I think I mentioned we're doing a new project, but it has been so invigorating for me. Just walking. Okay. All right, and then maintain momentum during the midday. Stay busy. Stay busy. Have a routine. Have things that you've planned. It helps you handle energy dips. So deal with those. Don't let those just kind of come. Right? You're going to feel, particularly if you're not rested, like I'm rested. You're going to feel those dips particularly as you do extended fasting, and particularly if you're not used to fasting. Right? Someone said to me, "Oh, my stomach is growling." So that means I'm hungry. No, it just means you're empty. Right? So sometimes we'll feel a change in our energy and we think, oh, that's because I'm hungry. No. It's just maybe your body's transitioning from carbs to ketones. And then avoid triggers. Avoid triggers. Now, this is one that I've got to work on, right, in some instances. So I told you before that at the office, at our hospital, sometimes I'll go downstairs to the cafeteria to get something to drink. But I'm going down at lunchtime. Right? Clear trigger. So what I need to do is I need to get whatever I'm going to drink and just stock it in my office so I don't have to go downstairs on those days when I'm fasting. Because when I go down, I see the stuff. It may not I may not eat it or break the fast, but it makes the fasting more challenging because now I have the sight of that fried chicken. I have the sight of that meatloaf. I have the sight of that lasagna. I have the sight of those wings. I have the sight of that salad. And it's in my head, and it makes it more challenging. Okay, so avoid triggers. And then in the midday, just like we did at the beginning, hydration, 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 hydration. How many times did I say that? That's it. Yeah, one more time. Hydration. Make sure you're hydrated. Otherwise, you're going to be lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty, palpitations, and all those, and even feeling nauseated. When I'm not, and sometimes that's why you see me drinking, because I want to make sure I'm drinking something, because I will get nauseated if I haven't had enough to drink during the fast. I mean, other times not necessarily so, but during the fast. Okay? And then ending the day. Ending the day. One of the things that I propose and I recommend to people is what's called bookending. Bookending. So bookending your day. And you may see back here, maybe you can. So I've got some books there. And these things, right? So right here, there's a microphone. And on the other side, over here, there's a little robot, two robot guys. And they, right, but books are between them, and those are my bookends. They're keeping the books upright. And so bookending simply is having something that you do in the morning that sets your day up for success, and something that you do at the end of the day that closes the day. Right, so bookending. So when we talk about ending the day strong, right, so what is your routine that you will use at the end of the day? So you do some relaxation, right, read a book, do some journaling, listen to music, play some music. That's why I recommend everybody learn how to play an instrument. Learn how to sing. Learn how to do something. So then you can go create your own music. So relaxation. And then reflection. Thinking about, okay, what went on today? I have an app that I use called Day One. And in Day One, and let's see, do I have... I think I actually did I actually did one of these. I did a show where we went through Day One, but I'm going to pop this up here really quickly. And I'm just making sure there's nothing that you can't see on the screen. Nothing that you shouldn't see on the screen. All right, so there's my journal. Okay. And so I use this app to journal. I stop in the car before I leave and I make notes. Okay. There are days where I leave and I've got to go somewhere quickly, and so I use my Notion. That's the other app that I use. But for this, for if I'm doing something and I'm at the end of the day before I leave the office, before I come home, I want to get some stuff out of my head. Boom, there it is. I use my Day One. Okay, and then of course I have my Notion, and we'll do more about Notion, I think, in another setting. Okay, so reflection. So what went on today? What do I need to think about? And some of the questions that I have here. Let me see. It says, what decisions are on your mind? This is my Day One. What decisions are on your mind? Who is on your mind? Any successes from today? And anything on your mind that we need to pay particular attention about, particular attention to, right? So just 4 questions. You can make it as detailed as you want, but I find that just having simple questions, 4 normal questions, boom, it just helps me. I can put that in, and I can, within those questions, I can actually be as expansive as I want. But they're prompts. And then let's see. And then prepare for rest. So what is your bedtime routine? What's your bedtime routine? and then plan for tomorrow. What things do I have today that I need to take over tomorrow? What was successful? What is my day going to look like tomorrow? Right? So we're ending the day strong. And then some tips for maintaining your routine. Because you can have a routine, but if you are not doing a good job of maintaining it, then we're back to the same thing, right? So set reminders. We all walk around with these devices now that are amazing. Set reminders on your phone. Yep. Use apps to keep you on schedule. Today I was at the office, and in between patients I was working on setting up my calendar and so forth as we move into this quarter and then prepare for things that we're going to be doing next year. So I was setting that all up, because if I don't do that, then it's just stuff in my head and I'll miss it. Right? So set alarms, use apps, keep your schedule together. Get an accountability partner and share your routine with a friend or with a group. That's why I love this space, because we get to do that. Accountability, right? Somebody who may say to you, or who will say to you, hey, did you do that thing that you said that you were going to do, right? Keeps you accountable. Did you get up this morning? Did you do your routine? Are you still fasting? Are you doing a 24-hour fast, or are you doing a 72-hour fast? Right? Share that with your group. And then be flexible. Be flexible. Allow for adjustments. Flexible. One of the things that has always amazed me is when we have storms in the area. You'll be driving and you see a great big massive tree that has come down because it broke along the trunk, or it's out of the ground, right? The roots have come up, it's laying on the ground. And then right next to it, you see a little bit of skinny little wimpy tree that is there. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, how come that tree went down and this one is there? It went down because it wasn't flexible. The other tree was flexible. It bent and it didn't break. And so when we're talking about being successful, when we're talking about fasting successfully, when we're talking about routines, we're going to set things up and things may have to change. And we've got to be flexible. We have to allow for adjustments. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So we're going to set ourselves up for success by developing routines. We want it to be automatic. We don't want to have to think about it. It is just something that we do. And the more we do it, the more the neuroplasticity comes in, right? So our brain makes synaptic connections. It becomes more routine. Have you ever tried waking up or setting your alarm for something and you did it, right? You woke up and you turned off the alarm, got out of bed. You woke up, turned off the alarm, got out of bed. Woke up, turned off the alarm, got out of bed. If you do that long enough, at some point, you know what's going to happen? You're going to wake up before the alarm. Because the body has now made a connection. This is what we do. And so we no longer need the alarm to wake us up. That's the beauty of routine. That's the beauty of consistency. It sets us up for success. And it is a superpower, and it is a key to what we do. Yep. All right, let's see. So what I want to do is I want to hop over and take a look at my report here on the clarity. And you'll see there on the screen the large number. That is my average blood sugar for the last 2 weeks, so 14 days. My time in range, you'll see that there is 93%, range being anywhere from 70 to 180, and my glucose management indicator is 6.3. That should be an estimate of what the A1C is, right? It's a surrogate. It's not the exact A1C. It is not the A1C, right? We can't call it the A1C, but we should approximate that based on these blood sugars. If I change from 30 days to 90 days, you'll see my average there should be about 130. Okay, 135 is what the average is. And my range is 86%. Target still being 70 to 180. And my glucose management indicator is 6.6. Okay, so we should be getting our lab results here in just a few weeks. And so we'll see, right, what that is at that time. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a picture, take a screenshot of that, and we can come back and take a look at that and compare it to what the A1C actually is. All right? And then if I go into my daily graphs, get that up here in just a minute. So, like I said, we're a little over 25 hours. So started fasting right here. Let's see, 28. Yeah, so right here. So you'll see after I ate, see that blood sugar started going up. Right up to 90, actually 200. Looks like it got up to about 200, 201. And then started coming back down. If I scroll backwards, right? So see, for most of the days leading up to that, but blood sugar was actually pretty good. Right? So Saturday, Sunday, so Monday, and we talked about this during the show when I checked in. So notice it was lunch that caused the spike here, right? It got up to 160s. And then into Tuesday, here's lunch again, right? 190. But for the rest of the time, the blood sugar is pretty good because when I'm not, well, let me, you guys seeing all of that? Yeah. When I am not doing an extended fast, I still do like a 16, 18 hour fast. So when I finish eating at night, I don't eat again until about noon the next day. Sometimes 1 o'clock the next day. Right? So I'm still doing that. And so that's why you see down here, blood sugars are still relatively stable. And it's not until I start eating here and then eating here that the blood sugars spike up. Okay? All right. So anyway, so starting there, blood sugars are 100. And then 24 hours later, 99. So let's hop over and let's see what you think my ketones are going to be. So I want to get this off the screen. We're going to need to turn on this guy. And let's get our Keto Mojo. And you'll see there when I ended my fast last time, I was 100 with 0.2 ketones. Or shouldn't I say it ended? When I did my ketones on Monday during the show, that's what it was. And I had been eating since Friday, the day before. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So about three days I had been eating for 3 days. And so now you'll see on the screen my blood sugar is 101. And then my ketones are 0.6. And that was, like I said, a little over 25 hours of fasting at that point. If I look at the graphs, the turquoise line, those are ketones, and then the tan line that you see, that's a blood sugar. So that the blood sugar, as the blood sugar rises as I've eaten, then insulin comes out because insulin has to now deal with the blood sugar to bring it back down. Or you have to take insulin as a shot. Once insulin is in the body, then ketones have to go away because ketones and insulin can't be in the same space. It's kind of like those movies where they say, if you ever go back in time, don't interact with yourself. Or it's like matter and antimatter when they when they are in the same space, badness happens. So that's the idea. So insulin and ketones can't be in the same space. So if insulin goes up, then ketones have to go away. But as I started eating, or as I started fasting again, right, then my blood sugars are coming down and my ketones are going up. So blood sugar was 101, I think is that what it was? Yeah, 101, and my ketones are 0.6. And so as I continue in the fast, so at 48 hours, we should see the blood sugar coming down even more and ketones going up. And then definitely by 72 hours, we should see higher ketones, lower blood sugars. Now, when we talk about ketones, ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 is considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 is considered therapeutic ketosis. So if we're talking about improving metabolism, let me change my scene here. If we're talking about improving metabolism, if we're talking about fat burning, if we're talking about weight loss, insulin, improving insulin resistance, improving blood sugars, suppressing appetite, all of those things are benefits that fasting provides. If we want to supercharge that fat burning, then we want ketones to be at least 0.5 or higher. And so people who are trying to maintain ketosis, that's where we want them to be. So if you're eating a ketogenic diet, that's where we want you to be. In fact, most of us at some point during our day will have some ketones. If you haven't eaten overnight and you went to, well, not even if you went to sleep, if you just haven't eaten, then if I check your urine or check your ketones, it's possible that you have some ketones. Not like 0.6, 0.7, 0.8. You probably have 0.3, 0.4. But we all can have some ketones. Those are considered normal. And then, of course, as we get to 0.5, that's where we get into the therapeutic ketosis and so forth. We do a expanded deep dive into fasting on Fridays. So come back and join us. You can also go back and look at one of the shows that we did, like last Friday. That was a good one. Well, on Fridays, that's when we do. We do the expanded version of a deep dive into fasting. All right. Okay, so we've looked at my ketones. Yay. So 0.6, so I'm excited. And the ketones for me means that my body is burning some of this stuff right here, y'all. That's right. See, I tell people that I'm working on a 6-pack. I'm working on that pack right there. This one. Not all 6 at one time. Just this one right there. We had a friend of ours, a colleague of ours, a really nice person recently posted some pictures of their body transformation, and it was amazing to see. We're working on that. Okay. So in our quest for our reversal of diabetes, in our quest for having better blood sugars, in our quest to be metabolically healthy, I want you to remember that you have unlimited potential. You have built in within you the power to chart your metabolic destiny. Let me say it again. Within you is the power to chart your metabolic destiny. Whatever's happened in the past, whatever decisions you've made, whatever complications even that you've had from the decisions you made about your health, that does not have to dictate what happens in the future. You can right now make a change because you have unlimited potential. Do you know what potential is? Potential. Potential is unrecognized. Well, I shouldn't say unrecognized. Potential is unseen. Unseen existence of something. What do I mean by that? It is the ball that you throw up in the air, or that brick, that we know it's coming back down. It's the brick is still in the air, right? It's reached the height, but we know it's coming down. And you know how we know it's coming down? Because you wouldn't go stand under that brick, would you? Nope. Because you know, hey, if I haven't seen it come down, but the potential is there, and it is coming down. So within you is that unrecognized, realized, as not as yet realized ability. And we want to tap into that. And we do that with the Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the blogs, the podcast, the show that I do. All of that is with education, because the goal is to change your mind, change your mindset, and switch it to get you to think a different way, to get you to have a growth mindset rather than a fixed mindset, to let you know that you are not just the sum of where you are right now. You can improve, you can expand, you can get better. We empower with the tools that we learn. All the tools, right? Emotional intelligence, mindful eating, how to create a menu, how to create a meal. We learn the heat model. We learn the cope model. All those things are tools that you now have in your bag that you can pull out and use at any time. We educate, we empower, and we encourage with the community that you are part of, the community that you enrich when you come and you tell your story, and we see the successes that you're having. Unlimited potential. Education, empowerment, and encouragement. Remember, there are some things, as you've made decisions about your health, that you've made decisions about how you are going to treat your health. The big place where we all have some challenges is in the food that we eat. I tell people you get a bigger bang in your health from what you do in the kitchen versus what you do in the gym. We did a show that the question was, does what you do in the gym outweigh what you do in the kitchen? And the answer is no. So food is that big thing. And there are some things that push us in the direction of breaking our fast, getting off of a meal plan, eating things that we don't want to eat. And that's given by the HEAT model. And the HEAT model: habits, emotions, access, and taste. Habits, emotions, access, and taste. We don't eat because we're hungry. We eat because of that routine that we've gotten into. We go to the movies and we eat popcorn. It's Tuesday night. We get together with friends. We drink coffee and we eat a bagel or we eat a muffin. We get up in the morning and we're not hungry, but we have a taste of strudel. Right? So we eat because of the routine. Everybody's getting ready to go to lunch at lunchtime, and we see those social cues and we get up and we go even though we're not hungry. I have broken the fast before accidentally because of routine. Right? So you go, and even one of our community members said this last week, right? She went into her garden and she was picking some stuff. She was fasting. She had been, I think, 24, 36 hours, something like that. And she picked a tomato and without even thinking, ate it. Because that's what she does when she goes into the garden. Habits. We eat because of emotions. We're angry, we're lonely, we're tired, we're frustrated, we're bored, we're mad, we're depressed. All of those emotions, when they get strong enough, will push through your decision about food. I want you to hear me. When when that emotion gets strong enough, the decision that you made about what you're going to eat or what you're not going to eat and how you're going to eat, that goes away because the emotions are crashing through it. It's kind of like that car, right, on the roller coaster that gets high. It's going on a roller coaster and it gets to the top. When it gets up top there, you can yell and scream and fuss and jump up and down all you want, but that car is coming down the other side. And often we allow our emotions to get to the top here, and then we try to stop it. No. The place to stop it is before the car gets up there. So that's why we want to become emotionally intelligent. We want to deal with mindfulness. We want to develop stress management techniques. But we eat because of habits. We eat because of emotions. We eat because of access. Things are just around. You're walking through the office and that coworker has that dish with the candy and you grab one, not because you're hungry, but just because it's there. I know at our church, right, they have a little candy dish. And sometimes I come in the morning and I'm going into the sanctuary and I stop in and I grab a candy. Not because I'm hungry, but it's there. There's certain things I can't bring into my house because I'm going to eat it. I'm telling you, I'm going to eat it because it's there. Habits, emotions, access, and then we eat because of taste. Taste, taste, taste. The perfect combination of sugar, salt, and fat. The bliss point. That's what the manufacturers, that's what the food producers want. They want you to be able to eat it and not just say, okay, this is good, I'll eat some next time. But hey, let me get some more of this stuff here right now. You can't just have one. And we're not usually chasing food. We're usually chasing what the food does, the memory that it brings back, the calm that it comes over us when we eat that food. I tell the story. I go to New York. I'm from New York. That's where I grew up. And every time I go to New York, I'm stopping to get some pizza, some hot dogs, and some Chinese food. Pizza, hot dog, Chinese food. I'll call a friend up. Hey, can you take me to that place? When my sister picks me up, hey, can we stop off at that place? And the question was, why? Did I just love pizza? Did I just love hot dogs? Did I just love Chinese food? Well, it turns out as I processed it, my dad used to buy that stuff for me and for us. And so he's been gone now. He's passed away. But when I go to New York, it brings a connection. And so even as old as I am, there is that connection that's there. So we eat because of taste. That time when we went to that place, we ate that thing and we felt that way. The heat model. Your call to action is this. When you show up, when you come, I want you to join the challenges. Get in there and do them. Every month we have a challenge. We'll be revealing the challenge for this month on our show coming up on Monday, Dwain Woode MD Live. Every month we have one. Don't just let them be things that are on the shelf. Get in there and do them. This is your opportunity to practice, to put into practice the things that we're learning so that you begin developing the tools so that when you need them, they are available. You can't wait until you need them to then work on the tool. So use the challenges. When you come, also tell your story. Tell your story. When we see successes that you've had, then we know that we can be successful as well. And when we see if you have challenges, share those with us because we can rally around you and let you know that you're not by yourself. And then invite a friend. There are over 1 billion people on the planet that have diabetes or prediabetes, not to mention the ones with heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, fatty liver, polycystic ovarian syndrome, right? And on and on and on and on. You can be the voice to change the trajectory of your community, of your family, of your church, of your community center, of your doctor's office. Hey, say, look, there's this place, there's this thing that we can go do. We can watch. We can go through this together. We can go through the challenges. We can do we can work on our mentation. We can learn some of these tools so we can put those in our bag so we can use them when we need them. And don't just send somebody, right? I want you to be an ambassador, be a mentor. Say, hey, let's do this together. Say, everybody in our family doesn't have to die of complications from diabetes. They don't have to die of heart disease. They don't have to have fatty liver. They don't have to be on all these medications. We can make a change because we have unlimited potential. And remember the pillars for reversing diabetes: decrease insulin, suppress appetite, and reduce sugar. Fasting, an amazing way of hitting all three of those parameters, all three of those pillars. Hey. All right. So let's see. Let's see who we got out there. So Jennifer said, good night all. She said, thanks, Doc. Steve says 0.6. Night, Jennifer. And Steve says 1.5. So Steve's ketones were 1.5. Hey, love it. All right. So everybody, I'm always excited when I get to hang out with you. Always glad that we are here. We were doing a check-in again tomorrow at 48 hours at that time, and then Friday, 72 hours when we do our review of fasting. Right, make sure you're there. If you want somebody to hear about fasting, we go through that on Fridays. Also, on Saturday nights, 9 o'clock, videos from the vault, where we look back at some of the landmark videos that we've done on the channel. And then on Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Central, we have This Week in Review, where we go through the shows that we've done with some commentary. So you want to make sure that you're there. Dial in, and then we'll be back on Monday at 7 p.m. Central right here on Dwain Woode, MD. As I always say, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, new you. Good night, everybody. We'll see you at our next check-in.